He was hiding something, and the little boy wanted to know what it was. They met months ago as the boy was walking home from school. He usually went through the forest. The forest was a place that he loved to explore. It was full of magical creatures and plants and things that he never knew existed, so he found something new each day. On this particular day, he was feeling adventurous. There was a new path in his way, and he decided to explore it. The sun illuminated everything in the forest. There was an earthy but a beautifully sweet fragrance emanating from the ground. In the distance, he saw something move along the path quickly. He wanted to know what it was, so he ran to chase after it. He ran and he ran with the leaves crunching beneath his feet. He saw what seemed to be the outline of another little boy, but it ran into a cave. It drew his curiosity and he decided to go in. He was apprehensive, but he tiptoed inside. As he turned the first corner, he could hear a whimpering in the distance. He called out, "Hello?" He got no answer, but he was brave and he wanted to know what was there, so he continued forward. He came across the whimpering creature. It actually wasn't a creature. It was a human, and not a little boy, someone a little bit older. "Why did you run from me? I was scared." "You don't have to be scared of me. I come through the forest every day. We can be friends." And indeed, that's exactly what happened. They became friends. Every day after school, the boy would take this path down the forest and they would play together, discovering new things and sharing new experiences. One time they got a little bit too excited and they ran together right down a hill, tumbled over each other, and eventually the elf landed on top of the little boy. Yes, this was an elf. This was one of the secrets that he's been hiding all alone in that cave with. But he grew to trust the little boy, and as their friendship developed, he shared that secret with him. And now here, laying on top of him, he was laughing, they were giggling together and having a wonderful time. The elf gave him a hug. The little boy thought the hug lasted a little bit too long for his comfort, but since this was his friend, he allowed it. The boy's parents and friends started to worry about him. He didn't want to spend time with them anymore. He only wanted to spend time with this new elf friend of his. The elf told the little boy to do what makes him happy, and the little boy was happy playing with the elf. One day, as the boy was leaving the cave, he went down the normal path that he always goes down, but this time things looked a little bit different. Leaves were not where they would normally be. Branches were not there that he always knew would be there. He started getting confused and taking different routes, and eventually he got lost. He started to panic. The sun was going down. He didn't have any way to contact his family, and he knew he needed to get home. He tried to go backwards, but everything looked different again. He didn't know where he was. He started to cry out for the elf's help. "Help!" Almost as soon as he cried out, the elf appeared behind him. He told him, "Why don't you come with me? Stay with me in the cave. It's getting dark. It will take you too long to get home now." The little boy thought this sounded reasonable, so he went home with the elf to the cave. But something was bothering the little boy. He tossed and he turned as he tried to sleep half asleep in the cave. Eventually he opened his eyes. He saw the elf lying next to him sleeping, but when he looked past the elf, there was a light in the cave, way, way, way deep in the back. He wondered, what could that be? So he slowly got up, crept past the elf, and approached the back of the cave. Just as he was about to turn the corner and see what it was, the elf rushed in front of him and stopped him. "Please, don't go there." The little boy asked him, "What is it?" The elf said, "It's nothing you need to concern yourself with. Just go back to sleep." Together, the little boy and the elf would spend most of their days in the forest playing. The little boy loved it so much he would lose track of time and forget about his friends and family. Sometimes the little boy would still think about that light though, and he'd have trouble sleeping when he stayed at the cave with the elf. Then suddenly, one day, it happened. In the middle of the night, the elf woke up crying. The little boy woke up next to him and wondered, what's going on? So he asked the elf. The elf said, "Come with me. I have something to show you." He took the little boy's hand and he slowly led him to the back of the cave where the light was coming from. He turned around, grabbed the light, and began to bring it towards the little boy to show him. There was a glimmer in the elf's eye, and you could tell this was painful and hard for him to do. The little boy reached out to put his hand on the elf's shoulder, but the elf didn't see it that way. The elf saw that the little boy was trying to take the light from him. He screamed, "Stop! Get away from me! Leave this cave and never come back!" The little boy had never seen such rage and fury in the elf's eyes. He ran from the cave, scared and frightened, and he decided he never would come back. The months following, the little boy didn't know what to do with himself. He had built his whole world around his best friend, this elf, and the elf no longer wanted to see him. He tried to understand why. Sometimes, on the way home from school, he would think about going down that path to see the elf again, but he could never bring himself to do it. He just wanted to know why. Why did the elf get mad at him? Why would he cause him so much pain? The little boy started to question himself. I shouldn't have reached out. What was I thinking? Why was I so curious about that light to begin with? That wasn't my business. And this is how the little boy's life continued for months thereafter. Questions circling around, constantly blaming himself, thinking he did something wrong, thinking there's something that he could have done differently, thinking that maybe he deserved this. So my question to you is, what would you tell that little boy? What if he was your child? Would you tell him that it was his fault? Should he have done something differently? Could he have controlled what happened to him? This is what it's like when you have to get over an ex that treated you badly. Now, of course, the little boy and this elf were not lovers. They're not even real people. But it's the same idea. I would help that little boy look backwards and see that there were a lot of moments in their relationship, their friendship, where things weren't quite right, and the boy noticed this. And that's not to say that the boy never did anything wrong and that the boy was 100% a perfect angel in every situation, but I don't think the boy deserves to beat himself up. And I certainly wouldn't tell the boy that he deserved what happened to him. So please try to remember as you move on from an ex who treated you badly that you didn't deserve what happened to you. Things just happened, and there may have been signs that you could have seen, but you didn't know then, you know now. Like the little boy, you may have gotten caught up in the magic of it all. You might have been excited to have a best friend, and you may have let some things go because of that. Like we all do, we're all human. What would you say to this little boy? Let me know down below in the comments.